I do have to say, some things are worth the wait. The idea of creating a new and expanded space for our fuel lab began back in 2018 when it was a part of our public referendum for Iowa Central. While the vision remained the same, since then there has been a few things that have changed, aka COVID, a new president, a new architectural firm, a new site selected, and a new grant that will provide the opportunity to be the cutting edge of the future of fuel testing. Fortunately, the leader that has been more persistent than any human being I have ever known, Jim Kirsten, the Vice President of Government and Community Affairs, was unwavering in his commitment to this and seeing this through. Thank you, Jim, Dr. Hecht, and the entire fuel testing team. Over the past 3.5 years, Iowa Central has gone $40 million in renovations and new learning spaces, from our new Storm Lake Learning Center, the Center for Performing Arts and Decker Auditorium renovation, to upgrades and equipment to enhance our ability to train the future of the workforce. We have been very, very busy. This project, however, was different. As some would wonder, why on earth would a community college whose purpose is to have students come to Iowa Central, finish their degrees and certifications in the shortest amount of time possible with the least amount of student loan debt so they can go on and have a better life, would possibly need to have the nation's only independent fuel testing lab right here on our campus? The answer is all around us. Iowa Central is here to serve our community, the workforce needs, and as well as the economic development opportunities of this region. With our ag park only a few miles away, this ensures global and national companies have the opportunity for quality, reliable, and affordable fuel testing right in their backyard. Some appreciation to share. Number one, it's always wise to thank your bosses. The Iowa Central Board of Trustees and their unwavering commitment to the students in our region. We appreciate them. Jensen Builders and ISG Architects for all of the headaches and wonderful work that they have done on this building. We have one of the best general contractors in the entire state right here in Jensen Builders, and we appreciate everything they've done. Senator Kryenbrink and Representative Meyer for their long-term commitment to Iowa Central, and for Representative Sexton, who was instrumental in getting the lab actually approved in Iowa code as the state fuel testing facility. Debbie Durham for her commitment to the economic prosperity of our region and supporting our efforts for the grant. Congressman Latham, as well as Senator Grassley and Harkin for their influence on receiving federal funding in the early stages of the lab, which wouldn't be existent without their support. And finally, the updated and new equipment that will allow us to be the industry leader in testing aviation biofuel would not have been possible without Secretary Mike Naig and Governor Kim Reynolds. As I turn this over to Governor Reynolds, I also want to thank her for her unwavering support of Iowa Central and our region. This ribbon cutting wouldn't be possible without her. We truly have the best governor in America. Please welcome Governor Kim Reynolds.
Well, thank you, Jesse, for that introduction and for everything that Iowa Central does to empower Iowans through education, research, and job training. And I just have to reiterate, you're right about Jim. That guy does not stop. When he is on a mission, you can bet he's going to figure out a way to work with you and get it done. So I can confirm that as well. But today's ribbon cutting is yet another example, I think, of how that hard work is playing off. I'm also grateful to the staff here at the Fuel Testing Lab, which has been among the best of its kind in decades, and that was even before this expansion. Now your critical work is about to hit another level, and just thank you for everything that you do. Of course, there are so many others who have also contributed to the lab's success over the years, and that's no surprise because the Central Iowa theme of its story is partnership, public and private, local, state, and federal. Like many such partnerships, it began as the solution to a problem, or in this case, an answer to a question. How does biodiesel perform in comparison to petroleum-based fuel? Many assumed that the price discount on biofuels must come at a cost, but Don Decker of Decker Truck Line wasn't satisfied with the speculation about something so important to his business. He wanted facts, so he turned to Iowa Central and its biofuels technology program. The result was a 2 million mile haul, a groundbreaking study that shattered several unsupported myths and revealed biodiesel is every bit the equal of its traditional counterpart. It confirmed that renewable fuels had a real role to play at the national level. Since then, numerous stakeholders, from farm families, biodiesel producers, researchers, to elected state and federal leaders, have done their part to grow that partnership into the world-class research institution we know today. It does outstanding work to ensure that consumers and industrial users across the nation and around the world can be confident in the biofuels they purchase. It also fulfills an important educational purpose by bringing students into the research process. But what I'm most impressed by is the way the lab drives innovation in one of Iowa's most important industries, allowing it to test theories and pursue the next big breakthrough in cleaner burning, more affordable homegrown biofuels. Such breakthroughs are not only an important piece of American energy independence and affordability, they also support healthy, robust rural economies right here in Iowa. They add value to the crops our farm families grow and support high-quality industrial jobs in our renewable fuels sector. And that's why Iowa invested $2.2 million in ARPA funds for the lab to purchase equipment that is capable of testing sustainable aviation fuel, clearly emerging as the next biofuels frontier. I'm proud to have played a role in helping the lab and the industries that it supports write its next chapter. Just as the 2 million mile haul helped prove the viability of biodiesel as a genuine alternative to petroleum, the future of fuel continues to run through this laboratory 2 decades later. So congratulations again on today's expansion, and best of luck, and thank you for the important impact that you have in our state. Thank you.
Next, we will have comments from Iowa Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Naig.
Well, thank you, and to the right page here, I almost gave you my BV County pork producers speech. That'd be a whole other flavor, wouldn't it? Well, it's great to be here, and I did just come from Sparky's over at Highway 4 and 20. We just today announced our 2025 Renewable Fuel Marketer Awards, and Sparky's is the ethanol award winner, and Pro Co-op up based in Pocahontas will be our biodiesel award winner. So I guess I should have brought a sample with me, I think is what but we did check the pumps out, so that was all on the up and up. But President Ulrich and Don, congratulations, and congratulations to the community and the Iowa Central trustees as well. What a tremendous investment. And Governor, thank you for making this project a reality. This is a testament to a lot of partnership and a lot of creative financing, but putting it over the top with the equipment was a huge deal. So let's give the governor a round of applause and all the partners. And we appreciate your continued support for biofuels. It is a team effort, and we certainly appreciate that. And I especially want to thank Jim Kirsten because, of course, what you all don't know, but I do, is that, of course, as I commute back and forth to the farm in Palo Alto County, I always say I see Fort Dodge twice for every time I see the farm once, okay? So I'm through here a lot. And what Jim promised me is that every time I visit the fuel lab, I will have Casey's Donuts and breakfast pizza, because I used to, and Tom Thumb now, because, of course, this was a site, saw a Casey's store here for a lot of years. And I want to say, too, in addition to all the things about this facility, it's pretty. It's beautiful. It is a nice addition to this corridor as you come into Fort Dodge, and certainly as you're coming into the Iowa Central corridor here. So I've had a chance to watch this project really as it's come to fruition, from that store to this. I even had a chance to sneak in here. Well, I didn't sneak in. I was invited. But to visit, to view the construction in progress. That was wonderful to see. So I really have been able to watch this one come along. So part of the Department of Agriculture's commitment to consumer protection, actually our statutory responsibility, is around weights and measures. We inspect every fuel pump in the state of Iowa to ensure that it's correct in terms of you are getting what you pay for, but also we're checking for that fuel quality as well. And in addition to that, so the Iowa Central has served as the department's official fuel testing laboratory now for over a decade. But this independent fuel testing facility also fills a critically important role for the private sector. It gives fuel producers and retailers a fast, affordable way to test their motor vehicle fuels. That independent verification, of course, goes a long ways towards supporting consumer confidence in the fuels that they're purchasing. So, in a state where we are leading the nation in adoption of or making biofuels and higher blends of biofuels available, we ought to also be saying that we have the best quality fuel in the nation as well. So whether it's choosing E15 or E85 or whatever other blend we might be able to push towards, or B11 and B20 at the pump, we want to make sure that consumers can feel good about that and confident about that choice, and they certainly can here in the state of Iowa. So, of course, the other partnership, the added value, if you will, here at Iowa Central is that you get that service and that important research that gets done, but you also pair that with really valuable and important teaching and training, a teaching and training environment for students. We can learn while doing. That's so important. But if this place just does what it always did, well, that'd be nice, and we'd like the new facility, but I think what I'm most excited about is the fact that this is future-looking. This is forward-looking in that the new lab has expanded testing capabilities, create new opportunities for Iowa farmers. As Governor mentioned, of course, the sustainable aviation fuel opportunity for the state of Iowa is huge, and we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to position Iowa as a position of strength there to take advantage of that opportunity and add even more value to the crops that we produce here. So it just goes to reinforcing what we already know, but let's play to our strengths, is that Iowa can play a critically important role in the biofuels industry, and especially as it relates to an America First energy policy and all of the above energy policy that leans heavily on biofuels and renewable energy. So as a wrap up, I just want to thank you for inviting me. It's really fun to be able to celebrate this milestone, and I do want to thank everybody involved, from the design to the donation of the site from Casey's to the construction, certainly. But a building is just a building. It's only because of the people inside of the building that we can really, really be proud of this facility and the work that's happening here. So thank you, everybody, for being here, and congratulations on this wonderful project.
Next, representing Congressman Randy Feenstra, Jim Oberhelman.
I did not realize I was saying anything. Welcome to the agenda. I actually go back a little while. You mentioned it, Dr. Ulrich, in your opening speech. Congressman Feenstra has been a great supporter of this, but I want to throw it back to my very first boss doing this, a man who had great foresight, Congressman Tom Latham. Jim, I can recall when Jim came out to see Congressman Latham about a facility, discuss this. I remember when we did the groundbreaking for the biohealth science building, and as I was standing here talking earlier, and as you guys started to speak, I began to wonder, because I know you're retiring soon, and all that you've done for the community, how many millions, if not billions, that you've helped be responsible for, from being a state senator to everything that you've done at Iowa Central. So, Dr. Ulrich, Iowa Central, on behalf of Congressman Feenstra, Jim Kirsten, thank you for everything that you've done for Fort Dodge, Webster County, and the area.
Also want to recognize we have Senator Jesse Green with us here today. We appreciate him. Today was a big day, so as people trickle in, we just appreciate it all. Next, we're going to bring up a retired state Representative Helen Miller, who led the state level funding, and as well as Senator Darrell Beal. Come on down.
Well, I'm so proud to be a product of Iowa Central Community College. And you know, I realized clear back then that this is a place where people can learn, and this is a prime example. Jim, you've done a great job, and I really appreciate all that's been done. And first and foremost, we would not be here were it not for the director, Dr. Don Heck. Don came to Iowa Central 20 years ago, and he created the fuel testing laboratory and the program, and so graduates could work at emerging ethanol and biodiesel facilities. As I said, I'm a proud graduate, and I know personally that various programs and professions come out of Iowa Central Community College. It has changed dramatically, though, in those 20 years. Today, the fuel testing lab is the gold standard. There it is. It's truly gold, and biofuel, and to guarantee the fuel efficiency and quality. And it's kind of the underwriter's laboratory that guarantees a safe and safety and security and sustainability of farmer grown. The governor announced this is farmer grown, both the ethanol from corn and the biodiesel from soybeans. And it kind of gets the good housekeeping seal of approval as well. My colleague in the House, Helen Miller, and I helped procure funding for not only the building, it was in the old greenhouse, and but also the renewable fuels. As was mentioned, the 2 million mile Decker program really helped guarantee that this stuff really, really works. And as, of course, Governor Latham or Senator, I'll get it right, Congressman Latham, and we worked with him. Everybody wins. Everybody wins in a renewable fuel program, from the farmers who produce the ethanol and soybeans, and the consumers, of course, the people who use this in their cars, they get better mileage, and of course, the Iowa economy is a winner. What's next? Well, it's already been announced, jet fuel, renewable fuel for our aviation. That is highly rare at a community college, by the way. We have an engine room that I hope to see soon. That it's the only one in Iowa. It's the only community college in America that has it. We did it. Finally, I want to announce something that probably many of you don't know. Don Heck has a tattoo on his tummy, and no, I'm just kidding. And Don, as you explained it to me back then, I could tell that you are a true scientist. You wear it, actually. It's a DNA helix that attests to his commitment to science, and I'm not going to ask you to show it to us today. But anyway, Don is a scientist. He earned his PhD. He's a dreamer and a doer. And from the very beginning, this would not be possible, Don, without your leadership and your vision. So God bless you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will attempt to be brief. This whole process started with this guy over here, Jim Kirsten, almost 20 years ago. At that point in time, the Democrats were in the majority, and I was on every committee that made a difference for what we wanted to do here. So Jim came with Matt Caswell, and we struggled and thought about this, ran back and forth between committees, fought off Senator Bill Dotzler, Representative Swati Dandekar, who wanted this, and we prevailed. And that's all I want to say.
All right, next we have Steve Howell from Clean Fuels America, as well as Grant Kimberly from the Iowa Biodiesel Board. So come on down.
Thanks for being here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name's Grant Kimberly. I represent the Iowa Biodiesel Board and the Iowa Soybean Association. And my friend Steve Howell here, we'll both talk here for just a few minutes, but we'll be as brief as we can. But I remember all the stories that you're hearing about, how this all came about through, this was the early days of the biodiesel industry. And remember, there's a lot of uncertainty back in those days, and fuel quality was a major question about the biodiesel industry. So this was something that we instituted and worked together cooperatively with Jim and Dr. Heck and the 2 million mile haul. That was kind of where this all began and got started. And then, of course, those discussions and everything else you've heard about here today, the partnerships between the state of Iowa and on the federal side and all of our legislators and our Congress people and our senators and the governor and everybody else. So this was so important for our industry because we didn't know where we were going to be at that point in time. This was something that was a new market for soybean farmers. Today, Iowa is the nation's leading biodiesel producer. We produce roughly 350 to 400 million gallons of biodiesel a year. It adds about 13% to the net market value of the price of soybeans. So this is very important to soybean farmers, to biodiesel producers, small towns, good paying jobs in these small towns, and to have an independent field quality testing lab like this has really made a difference to create the confidence in that industry, and especially in those early days. And now we're seeing that the biodiesel industry is well established and continues to grow. And now we're growing into other markets like renewable diesel and sustainable aviation fuel. And we're looking forward to continuing to put all these together for our energy future, to help our agriculture, our economy, and just our state. So with that, I'll turn it over to Steve Howell, and he's going to tell you some things too.
Great. Well, thanks, Grant. It's a real pleasure to be here. Don, Jim, others, congratulations on all the achievements that you've made. Well, my name is Steve Howell. Many of you may not know me. I grew up in Ames, went to Iowa State, so I'm a Iowa person bred and through. But I served as a senior technical director for the Trade Association for the Biodiesel Producers. And I've been in that role since 1994. So I took over the chairmanship of the ASTM group that sets the standards for the fuel in 1994 as well. So we've been at it for 30 years now. And I've had the opportunity to see the growth in Iowa Central and the growth of the industry over years. And Grant's exactly right. Back in the day, we had some quality issues back in the day. And I can remember when we were here doing the Decker 2 million mile haul, saying that, boy, we really need this to show that the biodiesel can really work, that it's high quality fuel. I remember Don showing me his laboratory at the time, which was in a greenhouse, and I was pretty quiet then, and Don's going, I don't think this guy's very impressed. But the wheels were really turning when Don showed me that. I'm going, you know what? Our industry's still at its fledgling part of the industry. We need a credible third-party laboratory that my biodiesel producers can go to for low-cost, high-reliability analytical capabilities, because that really didn't exist. If you wanted to ship your biodiesel off to someone else to be tested, it cost you $3,000-$4,000 just to analyze one batch of fuel. So to have a resource like that that can not only provide that analysis for our industry, they were the first BQ 9000 quality laboratory, our good housekeeping seal of approval that was mentioned earlier. To have that resource there, not only to provide the analytical abilities, but also to train people for our growing industry. And at that time, our industry was still pretty small. Now we're over 5 billion gallons nationwide as an industry looking to grow. And so it's been really important to have that. And I may not be quite as much of a technical nerd as you, or maybe I am, because my license plate actually has the number of the ASTM standard on it, D6751. So I'll show my nerd badge here.
Do you have an ASTM tattoo?
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper to just buy the license plate every year. So, and I got this thing against tattoos. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, to wrap it up, as Grant said, our industry has been a fledgling industry. We saw some promise in this industry. When we first saw the lab, my wheels were going like, hey, maybe this could really be a lab that would help our industry grow. And it certainly has. The quality we have in the biodiesel today is higher than it's ever been. So the quality of the biodiesel produced here in Iowa is some of the best in the country, and I know that because I see all the quality around the country. And having your laboratory there to help promote that, to be a real stalwart here, and then forward-looking to go out into the future. So we're now looking at not only biodiesel, which we first started out with, but also renewable diesel, sustainable aviation fuel, all from oils and fats, which we produce every year as a byproduct growing protein that we need to feed people. As long as we have people on this planet, there'll be extra oils and fats that we produce when we produce the protein that feeds everybody. So this has a real promising industry, and we're looking to grow this industry in part because of your good help and all the quality you provide. From the 5 billion gallons we're at today to 6 billion gallons by 2030 and 15 billion gallons by 2050. And the only way we're going to do that is with high quality fuel. And I'm looking forward to working with you in the future, Don. And I probably work closer with Don than everybody else who's talked thus far today. But we're actually looking at improving the specifications even further so that people can use higher blends than B20 in the new engines that are coming down the road in 2027 and 2030. Those new diesel engines will have 75% lower tailpipe emissions than today's engines. And today's engines have 90% lower tailpipe emissions than 20 years ago. So diesel engines with low carbon fuels like biodiesel, renewable diesel really can be the clean fuel, low carbon fuel that can be produced domestically in the U.S. through abundant resources that we grow and we produce every single year. So I'm looking forward to working with you, Jim, others, although you're retiring, so congratulations on that. Governor, Mr. Secretary, I look forward to working with all of you to help make that vision happen, and I'm looking forward to working with you on all the new standards we're going to be doing for the biodiesel industry. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
The final individual for remarks today will be Monty Shaw from the Iowa Renewable Fuels.
Yep. All right. Well, first of all, I do not have any tattoos. I grew up on a farm. I poked enough holes in my body trying to farm that I never decided I wanted to pay someone to poke some more. So just a couple things, and we'll get done with this. First of all, I was kind of looking around. I was hoping I see Jerry Fitzgerald here. So you were telling some of the good stories, and Daryl and Helen. Back then, Jerry Fitzgerald was a lobbyist that worked for the Iowa Renewable Fuels Association, and soybeans were leading the charge on this. But it's been a long time, so I probably have some of the facts wrong. Don't correct me. I like the story the way it is in my head. And you can't really say we're going to spend this much money at Iowa Central. At least you couldn't back then. That was something they didn't do. So we were sitting around there, and Jerry was the one, and all of a sudden we got some language drafted that was like, this will be at a community college in a county with the population above this and below that, and lo and behold, here we are. So I think we'd be remiss if we didn't give Jerry a little bit of a shout out for that, and Dawn and Jim and Steve with all the technical stuff that you guys have done has been amazing. I was going to talk a little, when the industry started, particularly on the biodiesel side, because it's newer, a lot of excitement, a lot of people jumped in at small scale. They didn't have facilities. And so anything that went wrong with the diesel engine was blamed on biodiesel, even if biodiesel wasn't in the fuel. It was the funniest thing. And so having a lab like this that could say, no, that's not true, but also help people get better. And quite frankly, some are no longer with us because they weren't able to make a quality product. And so the product that's out there today is world class and will go forever. But I want to end by saying this. We don't have to be standing here today, right? This meeting today could be happening in Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, Illinois. It happened because someone mentioned dreamers and doers, but it happened because we had people who looked to the future and took action. And here, Jim, you get a lot of the credit, and you should. But I look around Iowa. We have a world-class testing facility in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and that didn't have to be in Iowa, so don't take that for granted. With the governor standing here, I'd be remiss if I didn't say we have a nation-leading E15 access standard. No other state has that. We have it because the governor said we've got to keep this industry moving forward. It's too important. On the biodiesel side, first ever B30 tax credit for retailers. So we better get those new engines out here and those tests updated because we already have laws on the books. And with the secretary and the implementation that you do of those programs and the grants to get retailers up and going, none of this happened by accident. Sometimes we think, we're Iowa, we grow a lot of corn and soybeans. Well, and we do grow more, and it's obviously better. But there are other states that could have risen up and done this. But it was Iowa, and it was thanks to the leadership of the people in this room. So on behalf of my industry, I just want to say thank you, and we're looking forward to it. The next chapter with SAF. So, all right, thank you.
Final thank yous before we get to actually snipping that ribbon. First and foremost, want to thank the City of Fort Dodge, Mayor Bemrick, and the City Administrator David Furyk for working with us on the site and getting it ready and making sure that next to our corridor here, it's in line with what they envision. We also want to thank Webster County and the Board of Supervisors for all of their support and their work with the Ag Park and bringing all this together. Wrapping it all together, we have the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance led by our new CEO, Astra Ferris, here today. And what I've really come to appreciate with the county of the Webster County and this area is we know that to get things done, we have to do it together. And all of those entities really came around Iowa Central to support us to be able to have this end product today. And what I'll also tell you is community colleges are only as strong as the communities that they represent. And what I'm really, really proud of is all the strong communities across our 9 counties, and why I can sit here and say I can guarantee Iowa Central will be here and will be here to lead for the future because of the communities that we serve. Thank you for all your support, and let's cut the ribbon. But before we do that, I don't know who the ambassador speaker is. Come on down, Mr. Craig Schlentz. Come on down.
Well, on behalf of the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance Ambassador Group and Astra and Jill and Jefferson, Dr. Ulrich, Dr. Heck, all the Iowa Central Board of Trustees and everyone here, congratulations on this fantastic milestone with this new facility. It's been wonderful to hear all the stories of how this came together, how you got from the beginning to where we are today. I too am a proud graduate of Iowa Central Community College, back when there was 5 buildings over there. So needless to say, so much has changed. And for the Growth Alliance this year, Astra's team, their word this year is elevate. So you continue to elevate Iowa Central Community College, and you continue to elevate our community with what you do out here. And so I've lost track of the number of ribbon cuttings we've been to the last 24 months. But thank you so much for your investment, and thanks to all who supported this project and made it a reality. So appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. All right. Congratulations. Great.